Hello, Mountaineers. I'm Mr. Movie Mountain, and this is our special edition for
Spooktober!
where I'll be watching and reviewing classic horror films that I've never seen before. I've already got a lineup for 2024, but please let me know in the comments below any classic horror films that you think I should watch. And to begin this series, of course, I have to go with the classic of all classics, Alfred Hitchcock's 1960 Psycho. First, let's talk about what it took to make the movie and some of the unique aspects of the production. Hot off the huge success of North by Northwest, Alfred Hitchcock's assistant Peggy Robertson showed him the book Psycho that the movie is based on. Hitchcock liked the book so much he acquired the film rights for $9,500, or about $100,000 in today's money. However, studios were turned off by the themes of the book and didn't want to back the project. So Hitchcock financed the movie himself, mortgaging his house. Something his wife Alma was reportedly not too happy about. In total, the movie cost roughly $800,000, or about $8.5 million today, to make. With several cost-cutting measures, such as shooting in black and white and convincing actors to join the project for less than their typical fee, he was able to keep this movie relatively cheap. He also struck a deal to get paid with 60% stake in the film's negative sales instead of his usual $250,000 director's fee. This would turn out to be a pretty good financial gamble in the end. Remember how I said the movie was based on a book? Well, Hitchcock was so adamant on his story not being spoiled that he ordered all the outstanding copies of the novel be purchased so that the surprises would be preserved. In fact, this may be the first no spoilers type movie, with additional measures being taken to make it so the secret twists and turns of the movie were only revealed on the big screen. These included doing most of the film's promotion himself for fear that if the main actors did it, they would reveal too much of the plot. This promotion included a 6-minute trailer filmed at the Bates Motel where he gave vague allusions to some of the film's plot points, but no serious details. It also has this happy musical track playing in the background that masks the eeriness you feel in the actual movie. And you can still find that trailer on YouTube. No critics were given private screenings, having to see the film with the general public. And then there was this unusual policy for the time that theater doors had to be locked once the movie started and no one was to be admitted late. This policy was accompanied by this poster at theaters. Now that we've discussed a few aspects of the production and uniqueness of this film going in, let's see what I had to say just minutes after my first viewing of the movie. Coming to you live from the Bates Motel. So I just got finished watching Psycho for the first time ever, and it was honestly a really good movie. I can see why so many people think of it as a classic horror movie. And one of the things that really stood out to me was just how all the shots were framed. I think specifically of, the infamous shower scene. And there's just this, several shots of the camera looking at the shower kind of pouring down. And that was just so interesting to me. And then different shots throughout the movie that there was interesting framing, and the acting performances were just so good, and the suspense built so much. And I honestly was not expecting the mom's been dead for 10 years twist at all. That blew my mind when that came up. But then I had the sneaky suspicion that his mom was actually dead and he had either stuffed her or something like that, and something weird was going on. So that wasn't too terribly hard to figure out for me, but it still was scary and suspenseful. It just really was a good start to this Spooktober, and I'm really looking forward to watching some of the other movies on my list. As far as central themes of the movie, I don't know if it was just trying to be scary, or it seemed like there were a lot of people trying to run away from things. She took the money and was trying to run away, and then maybe go back to make things right. And the rich guy that comes in at the beginning, he talks and they have a conversation about not buying happiness, but buying not unhappiness or something like that, but paying money to not be unhappy, and like this form of escape and things. And so maybe that was the central theme, because Norman Bates ultimately was trying to escape the reality of what had happened to his dad, who died, and then his mom, who he had this weird twisted relationship with, and she got married again, and then he killed both of them. And so he himself was trying to escape from that reality and put on a wig and do all this kind of crazy stuff. But yeah, really great movie, and I look forward to learning more and doing a deep dive online to see the history and different things surrounding this movie. All right, with some of those instant reactions out of the way, I wanted to break down 3 of my favorite scenes in the movie. First, let's begin with Marion Crane stealing $40,000 and driving out of town. This sequence of shots of her in the car kept building on the suspense. First off, Marion sees her boss while she's leaving town after telling him she had a headache and couldn't work anymore. The anxiety of seeing someone that you know in a situation that you don't expect to see them kicks in super hard during this part. Then as she's driving away, she decides to sleep in her car and gets low-key harassed by a cop, and continues driving away. And something really clever that I think the movie does is Hitchcock had these voiceovers showing kind of what she was thinking and playing through these conversations that people would have when they found out she was gone and had taken the money. And I think it so accurately portrayed the anxiety that often accompanies us when either we do something wrong or something we regret, and we're just running through countless scenarios in our head of what other people think of us or what they might be saying. And the tension of these scenes is brought to a head as Marion is driving in heavy rains with the lights from oncoming traffic in her eyes. Living in Seattle, I know how stressful driving in conditions like that can be. And so she pulls over to the side of the road and finds herself at the Bates Motel. Amazing tension building and almost a relief for her to be at the motel. That is until the infamous shower scene. You first are creeped out by Norman Bates, who reveals there is a hole in the wall where he starts peeping on Marion. This already sets you in an uneasy state, and when you see a shadow approaching the shower curtain, alarm bells are going off in your head. The curtain is thrown back to reveal a shadowy woman figure with a large knife who begins stabbing Marion. The series of quick cuts combined with the screeching violin music makes it a highly intense moment. And this is one of the most iconic scenes in movie history, and reportedly took over a week of filming to get all the shots. In Hitchcock's messed up way, he even was the one holding the knife and doing the stabbing during some of the shooting, reportedly. Since the movie was in black and white, they used chocolate sauce for the blood, since the color would not show up on camera and it was easy to work with. The shower scene pretty much wraps up the first half of the movie, and then it launches into the investigation into what happened to Marion. Like Hitchcock, I don't want to spoil every twist and turn of the movie, but I wanted to discuss one of the final shots because of how cool it is. And this is, of course, the final shot of Norman Bates staring at the camera as it fades into the next image, and you see a skull superimposed behind his face. Just perfectly creepy imagery. I loved it. Let's talk about the mountain meter and wrap up. Psycho gets an easy 5 out of 5 on the mountain meter for me. The suspense and thrills still hold up to today. It's been a while since I watched a Hitchcock movie, but I was reminded of why he's seen as such a technical genius with all the different shots and interesting takes within this relatively low budget movie. And if you enjoyed this review and want to tune in for more Spooktober content, please hit that subscribe button. That's all for today, and I'll see you in the next one.